All right, guys, check this out, man. Welcome back to the Art of Whiskey. Now, we do booze and food, and part of one of the sections is clearly making sure that we have good food to go with the booze. Challenge is sometimes I go on YouTube and I look for recipes and things to make, and I think to myself, man, there's nothing on here that's really teaching me or giving me the like 411. So I think it's important that I walk you guys through my journey of how I cook, how I put meals together, how I make sure that the food is good, and even more importantly, things that you should do or could do to better your food. Some of the food I get is right. Some of the food is completely wrong. The goal is to always make it better. Some things I've got down pat and some things need a little bit of work. One of the things that we did, and I'm gonna start now, is if you've been here, I've made a few elk dishes. I don't know that I posted the food responses or reactions, which I should, in our shorts. Now this is a fresh elk bone in, 2.37 pounds and $111 for this thing. We have a we have a store here called Central Market. That thing is fully intact right there. That is a elk rack right there. Gorgeous. Challenge is, you know, any of the game meats can get super gamey. So the one thing I don't do right away is season that. And I'm gonna walk you through 3 different proteins and how I prep them and even how I think about it so that you too could use some of the same methods if you so choose. Because then if you see the reactions of people, we have an eclectic group of individuals from all age ranges and even more important, colors. We've got Indians, whites, blacks, Native Americans, Mexicans. There's a lot of people, Puerto Ricans. There's a lot of people who come through here, and you can't make this up. If you don't like the food, they don't like the food. If they love the food, they go, yo, can you make that again? Or that was like, funniest one so far is our guy Richard saying, that's like last meal death row. And it was because I made these dinosaur ribs. And the funny thing is I hadn't even seen the tenderism drama that was going on. When I posted that video, a buddy of mine said tenderism, so I had to go look up, what is this tenderism thing? No clue. I just know how to make dinosaur ribs, smoke them to say the least. Now this elk rack is what you call gorgeous. I mean, good Lord, look at that there, man. That thing is literally, you go, wow, that's some good eating right there. Most time your meats need to be cooked within 3 months. So it's already got a purple tint to it. Doesn't really smell gamey, but one of the vinegars that I use to just break down and kind of marinate the meat is, I always say it wrong, but balsamic vinegar to say the least. Now this will sit in the vinegar for a day. And what I look for, sometimes I let it sit for 2 days, is literally the color of the meat to change to the color of this vinegar. So when I'm putting this elk together and people say, man, it has crazy flavor. When I had Jamarcus help me unthaw the picanha, but they could still taste the gaminess. One of the things that I do to remove the gaminess is literally letting this thing sit in the vinegar. I'll let it sit out right now. It's kind of cold. It'll sit out in this vinegar at room temperature, or get to room temperature for an hour. I'll put it in the refrigerator. It'll get back in there. I'll take it back out tomorrow. And then Monday, I'll smoke it. And I can actually season it relatively quick. And it's okay to be, I don't want to say heavy-handed, but a little heavy-handed on this. Because even the vinegar that you're using here, you can cook a sauce with the vinegar afterwards to put on the elk once you season it. And I would also encourage you to get these kind of meat rack things, but this meat rack is going to be used for goat shoulder. Now, a buddy of mine is, he fancies goat. And I don't know why, I'm like, of all the things in the world, you want goat. And I've actually made goat and messed it up. That is the truth. But because I'm not going to mess this up, and goat is to be braised half the time, you can season this one, I don't want to say quick, but sooner than later. And part of this sooner than later means this. Normally I would again let this sit in brine or either lemon, white vinegar, balsamic vinegar, but instead I'm going to marinate this and sit it in season, let it sit for a day, because it's going to be put in a pot and it's going to be cooked over a 3-hour time frame in various water, vegetable oil, and some other things to help it break down and basically pull apart. And then I'll make 2 different styles of sauces and put the goat in the sauce over vegetables, and that's a whole nother thing. But you go, what's the trick to making goat shoulder? Hey, we're gonna figure it the F out. Now, one of my tricks or things that I do is chicken. And with chicken and chicken thighs, this is always fun because, let me see here. Put the goat shoulder. Your goat shoulder's going on a rack. Fish, yeah. The chicken thighs are always fun because they are guaranteed, I don't want to say hit, but they work. So when you put some chicken thighs together, they heat up well the next day. These things have enough fat and they hold on to a ton of flavor. Say, man, what's the trick to really making good chicken thighs and adding some flavor? Same thing depending on what you're doing. I'm doing something in like a mushroom vegetable sauce that I'm going to tighten up, with some cornstarch and whatnot. So I don't have to, the lemons could throw it off. The balsamic vinegar is not the move. Regular vinegar could be key, and you literally do this with seasoning, and that's one of the ways in which I marinate my meat. But let me just give you perspective. Right now, I've got a few chicken thighs, and I got this vinegar right here. Now, I could cut some of these lemons and add those in there, but what I'm going to do instead is, you see me put this vinegar in here? This right here, McCormick's does a good job, and I don't know if I posted the video in full, of having some pre-made seasonings that work. The applewood seasoning is crazy. What I love about this Spiceology Black Magic is that it doesn't really have a lot of flavor, but it gives the meat good color. I love personally coarse pepper, so I always add some, just a little bit of this. It's almost run out, but I'll be using this thing. And then there's some brisket pepper, but what we want to do is make sure that this thing has just good flavor. And Spiceology is, right now, is one of my favorite places to find meat. And this is our fine seasoning. And this is the habanero honey smoked, or smoked honey habanero blend. And mind you, there's a good amount of chicken in here. And then another, I think we've all used, or if you haven't, it's Kinder's, man. So when you smell anything that's in like this McCormick's packet, if you're doing what my grandmother used to do, and she wasn't cutting no corners, she just say she doctored stuff up. Doctoring something up, just smell it, see things that you want to enhance and bring out in this stuff. I'll season it a little bit more at the end. Normally I'll make this a little bit thicker, but I want this chicken to sit for the next. Oh, this is Scott calling now, hold on. My buddy's, what's up, man?
I'm just done, dude. I'm just now done. You want me to swing?
Yeah, dude, I'm just prepping meat. I told you I'm here all day.
Okay, I know. I just don't want to, you can tell you, man. I don't like showing up unannounced. And
Bro, we already talked about it. Bring your ass here. I'll see you in a little bit.
Okay, sounds good.
All right, peace. Yeah.
All right, sounds good. Later, bro. Bye.
Yeah, forgive me. I don't take no second takes. So objectively what I'm doing now is just adding a little bit more flavor to the meat, and I won't thicken this up. Normally I make this thick like a molasses. Doesn't necessarily need to be that. I'd probably add a second package. You know what? I might do that with this one because I think I want this meat to render something a little bit sweeter with some spice. And then I'm gonna massage it into literally the chicken thighs. And it's going to be good. I promise you that. So what you'll see in the shorts is Scott Hunt's reaction to the food. Scott's a guy who I think people originally thought that everyone around me was just making up like, oh man, that dude can't cook that good. and then as more people start showing up, you start saying, when can I come? There's a dude who messaged me, and hopefully, I don't know if he's going to see this. I don't think he follows this page, but he said, man, I'd love to fly from Oregon, be introduced to whiskey the right way. I haven't responded to the message. I mean, it's actually on the Best Whiskey page. It's in the message request. And come hang out with you guys and try some of the food and whiskey and meet everybody. And you go, okay. Yeah, that's not going to happen, but God bless you. And mind you, it could, man. I'm working on my people skills and being more friendly. But look at that. That right there is what you call gorgeous. So what's going to happen is it's going to congeal a little bit. And one of the things that you can do to tighten even up this sauce is you can literally add some mayonnaise or some mustard. And that will be, well, you know what, would be what I do. Mustard always adds a flavor component that most people, I don't want to say forget about, but you think mustard only goes on, let's say, a brine specific to brisket and these red meats. Man, adding mustard to something like this, believe it or not, that never sounds good, does it? Because we've all felt that sound before. You go, oh, I ain't feeling well. But adding mustard to something like this, and I would have put it in a bowl technically, literally, somebody, man, what is that little smack that I'm getting at the end? And it'd be something as simple as a little bit of mustard that you added. So you want to massage this stuff in here. Clearly you want the chicken thighs to have tons of flavor. The beauty about me, I don't want to say over marinating this, but like not making the sauce super thick, is that when I dump this whole thing into the pot and I put it in some vegetable stock, now the stock along with the pan that I'm cooking in and some, I'll drop a stick of butter in there, is going to be enriched with this flavor. And then when I chop up a few potatoes and put those in there and cook those in the sauce and add some mushrooms and potentially some asparagus that I've got in there that I need to get rid of, you go, wow, I got potatoes, asparagus, I could chop down some spinach if I so choose. But man, when you see this meat right here, you go, what was the trick to that, Trevor? Why does this taste like this? Because when you know, you know. And the one thing that I know is how to season some doggone meat. And even more importantly, cook it properly. Proper temperature for chicken thighs with bone in. Ironically, chicken itself oftentimes is only 165. When you get to that bone in chicken thigh, you can get up to 185 and still be fine. And even a little bit higher if you so choose. But now look at that there. That literally looks crazy. Literally looks crazy. And it's going to sit now because this meat is freezing cold. And what I do love about the plastic ones versus the glass ones, and I'll put the glass in some stuff or like marinate stuff in some of the glass, is that if I want this to sit out for literally a few hours to make sure that it really gets all the flavor that I'm looking for, I'll turn around and these plastic bowls that I found, they actually have tops. So that top be a game changer because we're about to enter what you call fly season. And the flies finna come out and they not playing. So you put that top on, and I don't want to say forget it. If you do have a bad memory, something simple you could do is literally add a timer to your phone. You say, man, what was that timer for? Oh, that's right. I left the chicken out on the counter to marinate. So now that chicken, I'm gonna put it back here, let it marinate. Again, we've got a rack of elk marinating now in just balsamic vinegar. We've got these chicken thighs marinating that I'm gonna make a sauce and some potatoes and stuff with some greens. And then I'm also, depending, I don't know about the day. Like if I do the chicken thighs, I think I could get away with just eating the chicken thighs. I also might not do, I might cook the fish to like tomorrow. But the fish, so I'm gonna make this marinade for this fish. And the beauty about fish, and I learned this from Jimmy G, one of the tricks, makes complete sense because my favorite taco from Velvet Taco is, they've basically got a cod fish, I believe, and that joker has a slaw on it with this mustard. And you go, man, who would have thought to put a little dab of mustard on that thing? And it's always like, man, that's good.
Yeah, fish and chip taco?
Yeah, fish and chip taco, exactly. That's what it's called. And it's like, it's a flavor bomb, man. And I always eat that one last. If I order 3 or 4 tacos, that's the last one I'm eating, man. So, as you know, anything acidic is going to begin to slightly cook the meat and go ahead and break the meat down. And for those who eat ceviche, a lot of times that ceviche is made in like lemon or lime or something, and all of the stuff eventually gets cooked. You can poach shrimp even in literally this kind of stuff, or like lemons and stuff. Cook them things all the way through if you let them, especially I think if you're doing like an aguachile shrimp per se. But in this case, I got some good fish. I fried some last night. It was super good. Shout out to Chance. If you've seen him on the page, he brought me some batter. And I'm like, man, what's this batter? It's like, dude, it's just good, isn't it? So we're using Dijon mustard. And we're using spicy mustard. And this is, again, Jimmy put me onto this because it adds a crazy flavor to the fish. But the part that some might miss, food for thought, is literally adding something like this, the seasoning to it as well. So that's lemon pepper. Lemon pepper has a buttery note to it. I don't know how to explain it, but for instance, Kinder's has something called caramelized onion butter. So you put that in there and you're like, man, that's good too. And again, I always got to add some spice. In this case, the pepper ain't gonna add no spice, but you see the lemon pepper itself always has some pepper in it. So here's another one. There's a company called, it looked like Lily's, and Lily's is good branding. It's crazy that this brisket pepper could work on this. It will work, to be clear. I did this last night. So we're using fresh lemons. We've used some brisket, and we've used some caramelized butter. I don't use a lot of salt in my stuff, so you never hear people a lot of times say, oh man, that's so salty, but you gotta add a little bit of Lawry's at times. Remember, if you use black magic seasoning, it's only going to add color. This stuff, I ain't gonna say ain't got no flavor, but it really ain't got no flavor. And mind you, I'm frying this fish. So they ain't even gonna taste it like that. And if you don't wanna use Lawry's, another good seasoning that works and has a good salt component, I put this on the potatoes at time, is this Raging Cajuns, the original. And that'll give it that little bit of fish, like, you know, oh man, I comes Cajun fish. When in retrospect, you're not. But again, mustard, lemon, and as you stir this together, you then coat all the fish in this. And this still has to be battered. This still has to be battered and then fried. Now, mind you, you can bake the fish, but I like in this case when you pull that thing out and it got that crust on it. And I did this last night with some veggies and rice for the homie. And I was like, I ain't gonna fry fish twice. So I'm like, dude, that fish was so good, I'm gonna fry it again. And this time I'm gonna make it even better. So again, 2 different mustards, spicy and Dijon. Use some seasoning of your choice. We all know that most people like lemon pepper seasoning. One of the things I'll top it off with just to add some spice. So when you a little cayenne pepper, cayenne's always good because it literally hits you in the top part of your mouth when you don't overdo it, and you feel the spice but don't feel the burn. You like the spice but don't want to burn up. Cayenne pepper's good with a little black pepper, and that goes a long way. And again, this is another protein that has to do what? Sit and relax and get to room temperature. But this fish I got from Central Market Street, it's drop dead gorgeous. And smells good. Look at the skin on this thing, man. I forgot, I threw the thing away, which fish it is, but that right there, that's a good fillet. Like when you go to some restaurants, they don't give you fillets that look that good. And these 2 fillets are just, man, it gets people like me excited because you're like, man, I want to cook that. I gotta cook that. And then you put it again in some type of brine and then you fry it. You got no excuse now. I cook a lot at home. and even last night, they were like, my buddy Scott goes, hey man, I got to come watch you cook. I need to cook better for my kids. This is ridiculous. He was like, what restaurant are you going to where you can cook like this? I said, I don't know, man, because I cooked everything in like 20 minutes. So Scott last night got some fried fish. He got some, what else did I make? Oh, I made some chicken wings. That was crazy. And this okra vegetable concoction. That was good. Even surprised me. And he's like, the veggies are so good, I could have just put them in a wrap and ate them things. And I use okra, tomato, chopped with some onions and a couple of things I forget. I forget what I'm doing half the time just because I just cook and move on. And by the time he was done telling me a story, his food was being plated. Plus he went to the store and all he's thinking is, bro, how did you put all that food together? It's natural to me to do something that feels natural. And that's make good food. But this is what it looks like when you see the booze and food thing. You see some of the reactions. I definitely got to do a better job of posting. And look at that fish. Again, fish now, drop dead gorgeous. It's going to sit in this marinade. This won't be eaten. I mean, I might not eat this till tomorrow. And then if I do eat it tonight, man, it'll still be ready. So it's like literally 3 hours from now, that meat will be perfected and ready to go in terms of just flavor and flavor profile and all that good stuff. And I keep going on YouTube to try to find different foods that I want to learn about. And you think everything's on YouTube and it's just not. It's literally just not on there. So what I love about the dry rack as we marinate our last meat. And people, these are just marinades, man. This is just me marinating stuff. In prep to cook, not including everything else that has to get done half the time. And yeah, that goat shoulder, man. He's goating, that's all I'm gonna say. He's goating. And I haven't cooked a lot of goat anything. Try to find some very good videos on there. feel like people lack clarity. And mind you, I don't think I'm being super clear. What I think is I'm going to figure out how to be clear and walk you guys through a little that goes a long way. And normally I would set this in again, some type of balsamic vinegar, and let it just soak in to knock the gaminess out. Don't have that kind of time on my hands. And most time people marinate this in yogurt. I'm gonna use some prime steak and potato. I'm going to add this garlic stuff right here. There's a company at the Asian store where I usually get this garlic paste that I would marinate this in, and then I would also use yogurt. Now this is the blend, another one from Kinder's, and then see, this says all-purpose veggie rub, which I think works as well. And this one, in this case, because I want it full of flavor, candy, bacon, sriracha now. Because I want it full of flavor, oh yeah. That earthiness, man. Add thyme. Thyme or oregano goes a long way. And I could have added that even to the fish. Like I might, the fish with that, that's always good as well. And then believe it or not, as the final binder, even in this, I think it'll work, is some damn yogurt. Mustard to thicken this thing up. And you won't taste it, like they won't taste it. Biggest thing is just to make sure that there's some of the game that gets out of this stuff. And then I'll turn around after I paint this seasoning all over it. And it's gonna get cooked in a pot of water. So the water is gonna ensue flavor. Oh man, it smells good. Smells good. They say that you should cut some of the fat off and trim it, but again, I don't always trust that stuff when it comes to cooking new stuff. I will tell you that if you do cut the fat off of, what's that other thing? Lamb. That's always good. Lamb will heat your behind up. But this is more so for a buddy of ours, Jeff. He likes goat. I love being pushed. And a little goes a long way. See that little spoon right there? Boom. Now, when you paint this, I don't use a spoon to be clear. I normally just do like this. All of a sudden, that little spoon got all over the meat. Paint, you just paint the picture, man. I chop and cut through the fat at times. And this might be one of the things where I smoke first and then braise after that. Turn your smoker up on high. And that high smoke will lock in some of the flavors and give it a different kind of like texture. And the back part of this thing has bones. So, you know, some people don't season the bones. I'll season everything and just let it sit. And this is another thing that I'll put out in the oven. My oven I use kind of, I won't say as a refrigerator, but you just put stuff in there and let it get to that room temperature. And I'm not over seasoning. Normally, I would have made way more seasoning to go on this and coated it all up. But again, it for a fact is going in a pot and it's going to cook for 3 hours, and I might smoke it for 30 minutes at 450 and then let it get to that place where it falls apart. And guys, this is just a test goat shoulder. So ain't super expensive. It was like 36 bucks for this whole shoulder. If it works well, I'll make 2 sauces with potatoes and veggies, one spicy, one mild, or one with like a tamarind thing. And that'll be that. But if you're a food person and you like food, you like cooking, you want to better understand how to put things together, or even just enjoy the processes, I'll show you how to put things together. Comment below, get ready, because we're going to up the food side of things. It doesn't take me long. The longest part about this is me actually talking. I could have done this in like 10 minutes, literally, with all this damn meat and stuff. But I'm like, man, if we're going to do things at this level, which I've now been doing stuff at this level for a year. And before that, I mean, for the past 3 or 4 years, I've been cooking some good stuff for everybody to enjoy. And part of them enjoying it is me watching them enjoy it and just knowing how good a good meal goes a long way in your life, man. So elk will be something that will potentially be ready to cook on Monday. Monday, our booze and food starts around 4:35. This will sit in this all day tomorrow, the rest of the day today. I'll season it in the morning. So when I get up, you pull it out, let it get to room temperature. I'll season it, let it rest out for a little bit. I'll smoke it and then potentially sear it off in a cast iron skillet that I'll also put on the smoker and heat it up so it gets that little just crust that you want on it at times, and it'll add a ton of flavor. And then I'll make some sides for it. And then we've got the chicken thighs, which will be made tonight. Boy, them things look gorgeous. Literally gorgeous. And they'll be put over one of the tricks, this is the trick too. You put your chicken thighs, I ain't got no big cast iron skillet, but in a big pan, you heat it up, you drop those things in, it'll crust the skin and make it basically like lock in some of the flavors as well. Literally just throw them chicken thighs because they got a good amount of fat, right? You put your chicken thighs in there in a hot pan, crust and creates this tightness with the skin. Then you turn around and you add your vegetable stock and get all the seasoning that was off the bottom. Then you turn around and then that's when you turn it into kind of a roux, or you put a top on because now the chicken's kind of tight, and you let it all boil through. And it'll take you 22 minutes, maybe 30, depending on how hot you want it, because you want to cook these things slow and make sure the flavor just sits in and season. But the beauty about it is all this season goes into the pan. So I'm just like this. I'm like, yeah, I was going to do that fish tonight, but I might do that fish tomorrow because I could eat 2 chicken thighs and be fine. And my buddy Scott, he can too. But guys, if you like cooking, vinegar helps literally tenderize the meat in my experience. And you can use different vinegars for different things. Use lemon, use limes. I think there's a way to use whiskey. So we're going to investigate that. There are vodka sauces that go with things. There's so much to food. And I'm like, I probably should just take y'all down the journey. Because no matter what, I for fact can cook pork. I can cook elk. I actually have AG1. That's what they say. And I haven't been diagnosed, but if I eat beef, my ass bleeds, literally blood flying out of my ass. So I have to cook rare things and things that people wouldn't consider eating, I think, on a day-to-day basis. So fish is probably going to be the future of majority of my diet because you just feel good after eating fish. Any gamey meat, I love game. That meat is like, I don't think if I didn't learn to cook, I would ever consider using elk. Somebody's like, hey man, I got this elk one. I'm like, well, what is that? I got Jeff, shout out to our guy, Jeff Whiskey. I got him saved in that as my phone. Brought me all type of parts of venison. We did a venison tartare with the guys. I should have posted that because that's a different thing. Like most places at someone's house, you're not like, hey, let's have tartare today. Nobody does that. Nobody does it. But I'm like, you know what? I'm going to spend money on the tartare and that's going to be that. So I'm not going to ever get back into a heavy bunch of pork, but I can make a crazy pulled pork. I'm a master of some sauces. I think there are 3 sauces that go a long way, both from Asian all the way to what you would consider American and Mediterranean, all that stuff. I'm going to be making Mediterranean food. There'll be some lamb legs and lamb roasts and things that we do. But for the most part, if you're brining and seasoning your meat, it could take 3 days. The good meats, especially the ones that cost $100 for something this small, I ain't rushing to cook them ever. And the fastest I cook one, when I heard even the buddy Eric go, man, that was good, I could still taste it. The last time I'm like, yeah, I know. It's a 3-day process, man. That annoys me. But it's a good reminder to take your time, put your best foot forward. And if you do like duck, I can cook duck like that. Now that I can cook in about 25 minutes. 25 minutes, I can duck goose. That being said, guys, stay tuned. Keep it whiskey. What's your favorite pork? What's your favorite meal? What's your favorite meat? Hopefully you learned something. Maybe this don't make sense. Maybe it does, but I promise it's going to taste good.